Hi there, Adapters TechX. It's great to have you back with us again on the show, and we are going to chat today about governance. But first, a big thank you to the annual hotel conference team, Questex, for a show that apparently, according to Lexi Kajavi, was 30% up over 2019 numbers. What an achievement and an amazing event. So keep looking for those promos out there and those follow-ups from the team. Today, I'm delighted to have Seán Worker. He is an expert on governance. And you say, what's governance? It's all about the board, and we're gonna pierce that veil. We're gonna look into the boardroom, and we're going to share a lot of tips and takes on what makes a great relationship between a chairman of the board and the CEO. So Seán, it is great to have you. Look great as always now that you've moved to the UK. And as I mentioned, you were chairman of Habitat for Humanity. We got to start there. A brief note on that. You even know Nelson Mandela, for goodness sake, in the day.
Oh yeah, Sean, great to see you. Really great to see you, and thank you for having me on this wonderful program. I will tell you, Habitat for Humanity International build houses around the world, and we had a 27-member board of directors, and I had the privilege of chairing that
Wow.
board. And with you mentioned Nelson Mandela, we have worked throughout Africa, and had the privilege of sharing with him at his 80th birthday party the work of Habitat for Humanity. But it was such a wonderful organization. But the key was corralling 27 people from all around the world, from presidents
Amazing.
to school teachers to homemakers to cabinet members to industry executives. The goal was a shared strategy and focus on fulfilling Habitat's mission, which was to eliminate poverty housing from around the world.
Let's chat about your experience with boards, and you have become a practice leader in this around the world. We jump from 27 to, so can you give our listeners just a broad, high level overview of what is governance? We talk about boards and governance. What does that mean?
You know, One of the key to governance, and we talked about Habitat for Humanity as a starting point. One of our rules before every board meeting was to check your titles at the door. So when you walked in, no matter what your role was, we were all on a level playing field. And governance, when you think about when folks set up companies, they establish some organization, some mechanism to govern that company, and that becomes typically a board of directors. And that board of directors has a key obligation to set strategies, to set policies, and then hire or engage someone to implement and execute upon those strategies and policies, and that's a chief executive officer. Governance is about delivering the value for your stakeholders, fulfilling the mission for your nonprofit organizations, if you will.
And so you've served on a range of boards that had a range of industries. Everything from you're the chairman of the board of RAP Technologies. That's a kind of, how would you describe RAP?
RAP's mission is to de-escalate uh, uh, police activity. For example, what RAP does is its main product is a discharge that wraps around a person and immobilizes them, and it's an alternative from a lethal approach. And in RAP's case, as a for-profit publicly held company, we know that we have multiple stakeholders, and the role of the board is to make sure that we are delivering our value for all those stakeholders, be it shareholders, be it employees, be it vendors. And when you talk about what is RAP, like the mission, it's sort of like a public-private mission, because you really want to do good. And there's a reason you can't do well while doing good.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then on the other boards, I mean, you've served on everything from, Board of Education for Philadelphia, Pitcairn, which is an independent, as an independent director, and then you got philanthropic trusts. I mean, you've got a huge spectrum, including in hospitality. So when you think about what makes a great board, what about that relationship between the chairman and the CEO? I mean, what should that be?
The most important thing, Sean, that a board has to do is to hire the CEO. And it's critical in doing that the board itself has established a strong foundation. And that foundation would include values, recognition of what the board's obligations are. Fiduciary, you gotta care for the company. You can't usurp opportunities, and you gotta have loyalty. Well, I can reverse it. You gotta have loyalty. You can't usurp opportunities, but you also have care. You gotta make sure you got adequate information from which to make decisions, and use your business judgment. But once the board itself has established its foundation, then it will make it all much easier to engage the right person as the chief executive officer. That relationship.
Stuff goes wrong, right? Oh, sorry, I was already moving on to like stuff goes wrong on
Yeah.
boards, right?
Well,
So
that's all right.
that's what we're really interested in.
But that relationship, you got a chairman who leads the board, and you got a CEO who leads the organization charged to implement board policy. And that is a critical intersection between the chairman and the board, because if they are not in sync, if the board and management are not sharing strategies, if they're not pushing or pulling together in the same direction, you will have chaos, you'll have dysfunctionality, and you will minimize your ability to deliver value for all of the stakeholders. So that is a critical relationship.
Could you just give us the essence of the tips and takes that our listeners should really take to heart?
Absolutely, Sean. One, the board must have a strong foundation of solid values from which to govern. Two, you have to have the right composition on the board, the right talent: CEO, CFO, legal, finance, industry. Third, you got to pick the right CEO to implement all those policies. And fourth, you got to have shared strategies. You got to be working together. Even if you disagree, once the decision is made, you have to go forward together.
Wayne, they're perfect. Thank you for sharing that, and really appreciate you being on the show. So thanks to everybody at Adapters TechX for staying with us. You just got to listen to the extended podcast that we're going to share with you, where you get the essence and more, and what Wayne's comfort food is and what he's reading right now. So lots more. But this is really important for CEOs and others that are learning or participating or even in the middle of a board relationship. These are valuable tips. On that, thanks to everybody for taking the time, and keep looking over the fence.